What's up everyone, Lion Roar here, and Season 5 has arrived in Empires and Puzzles. At least the heroes have. So we're going to go over the legendary heroes, break them down, and give them some grades. But first, download Gemstone Legends, a mobile RPG puzzle match game. Use the link in the description to start with free stuff, including a bonus hero. Alright, so Small Giant Games has opened the Season 5 Dynasty of Dunes portal and given us some brand new heroes, including legendary, epic, and rare heroes. We're just going to go over the legendary heroes today, but I think it's worth showing you before we get started what these appearance rates are. Because if you're going to dive in head first and summon, you probably want to know what are the chances you're going to get one of the heroes we're talking about today. Well, since they're legendary heroes, the legendary featured hero, which covers 3 of the heroes we're going to talk about today, it's only a 1%. And then the legendary hero of the month, of course, is 1.3%. So you're still more likely to get the hero of the month than one of the legendary heroes. Although you do have to consider there's a lot of heroes here. So overall, you're probably more likely to get one of the new heroes than the hero of the month. But to get any one specific hero, your best chance is 1% for a legendary featured hero. Now, the chance to get a legendary hero that's not featured is 0.6%. So what does this mean? It means you have to do 100 summons to maybe get one of the featured heroes. And you have to do close to, my gosh, it's like 180 summons to get you can check my math on that if you want. Mathematicians probably screaming their head off right now. I'm estimating it's going to take about 180 summons to get like one non-featured Season 5 legendary hero. Okay, let's take a look at the heroes. First up, we have Papyros, who is a 5-star holy druid. That's an okay class. It's fine. If the hero is good, it can accentuate it well. It might go well with the special, by the way, in this particular character. But we also have the Moon Family bonus here for 1 or 2 heroes. 10% or 20% chance to cast negative 24% defense for 2 turns. And 98 water damage over 2 turns on an enemy who deals special skill damage to this character. If the enemy's special skill defeats this character, the chance is 50 or 75%. That's actually a really cool understated sort of passive ability. And then we also have this passive, effects on special skill. 60% chance to perform the following actions when this character casts their special skill. Boosts health of all allies by 10%. Boosted health can exceed max HP. All allies gain a small amount of mana, which of course makes them faster. Now, I will tell you what, Empires and Puzzles has really been cranking up the power of heroes in these passives, so pay attention to them and don't forget about them. I think it's really easy to forget about the passives, especially because they kind of snuck in there. Empires and Puzzles started adding these one day and they weren't really that noticeable. They didn't even do much. People always forgot about what they did because, well, who really cares what they did? But more and more, these passives are quite powerful. When you put these 2 passives together, it makes up a lot of what this hero does, and for that reason, I think the Papyros is going to be underrated. But let's take a look at the rest of the special. 780 attack, 788 defense, and 1487 HP. Summon Sand Golems is the special average speed. Summons a Sand Golem minion for each ally with 14% HP and 18% attack inherited from the caster. Each time the Sand Golem minion is attacked by the normal attacks or special skills, the attacker gets the following status ailments. The target receives 282 sand damage over 3 turns, and all allies get plus 30% defense for 3 turns. So here are my thoughts on Papyros. I think that he's not going to get enough credit for how strong he is, and then on the other hand, there really is not a lot of use cases for him. So like, I don't think he's gonna not be used because he's bad or lacking anything. I think he's gonna lack use cases because he's really built to be a tank, and we just don't use yellow tanks anywhere in Empires and Puzzles. Like, you can use them on your regular defense if you want to, but like, I don't see anywhere in wars where people are all in on the yellow tanks. So I mean, you could, it depends on what kind of alliance you're in. Use them for war potentially if you're in an alliance that uses rainbow tanks, or just whatever you have. It's probably like a mid-game type of alliance or something like that. But I think he can be understated on offense, but he's probably not going to be your first choice, right? So I think he's strong, and I think he's really, really good. And I also, unfortunately, just think we're not going to see him used a whole bunch. He's a prime candidate for people to like rediscover him one day and like pull him out, and then all of a sudden he shows up everywhere, or like people will realize he fits just as well at like a flank position when he's got synergies with some other type of hero, and then all of a sudden you see him pop up. Because I'll tell you what, he could be really annoying on defense. Think about how much sand damage is being done here. He's creating so many minions. Remember, when minion creators create minions, they create it for the whole team, but then they usually create a second round of them, and then maybe even a third round of them. And so like your attacking team is always going to have these minions hitting you with sand damage and making it harder to attack the other team because of the boosted defense. And don't forget, the whole team's going to be going off faster. So really, this hero deserves to be a B+, and I'm going to give it that, realizing we're probably still just not going to see this hero around a whole lot. So those are my thoughts on Papyros. Khonshu is up next, 5-star purple hero barbarian class. Again, not one of the best, but it's fine. Also part of the Moon family, so don't forget what that does. The passive here is effects on special skills. 40% chance to perform the following actions when this character casts their special skill. Deals 70% damage to all enemies. Remember that. And all enemies get negative 24% mana generation for 3 turns. Those, again, maybe even better than before, are really, really good passives. You're dealing... 70% is a lot when you add it on to like what we're going to talk about next. And then slowing the heroes down. People are going to get their mana slowed and wonder why. They're going to be like, where did that come from? And it's all enemies. Guys, the passive is such a huge part of what the special is now. Don't forget about this. 830 attack, 743 defense, and 1450 HP. This is a very fast hero. Midnight Strike. So, you know, it only takes a level 11 mana troop or the new mana troop to set it off with only 2 matches, which is absolutely incredible, at least on offense. On defense, of course, the calculation's a little different, but it's going to go off super fast. Deals 425% damage to the target. That's a really good sniping figure when you figure the attack is also 830. It's a lot of damage. If the attack defeats the target, the caster gains 50% mana. You can chain these things together. Think about this. You could hit 2 heroes with 3 matches potentially. What? That is an incredible amount of damage. A great offensive hero, but you could probably put it on defense too. I think it's going to be a better offensive hero when you can choose who you're hitting with it. But on defense, you could like stick it in the right flank and just let it go to town, like assassinating the attacking team. So this is pretty good. It can be used in a lot of places. This is actually really cool against Titans as well, because even though it doesn't do anything super special except a ton of damage, that's what you're trying to do in this game, right? Is to kill heroes and do a ton of damage. So Khonshu can be used everywhere you want to use Khonshu. Extremely flexible and very, very powerful. And especially when you consider this passive, I have to give Khonshu an A. This one's pretty easy. It's a simple special, but sometimes simplicity is extremely powerful. And so it is for Khonshu. Sobek is a 5-star blue hero, wizard class. Again, not one of the best. They may be doing this on purpose because the specials in the passive seem to be really, really good. But a wizard class. We also don't have we don't have as many of these heroes in these classes that I'm pointing out. Part of the Sun family. So here we have a new kind of bonus. This is for 1 or 2 heroes. 10% or 20% chance to cast negative 35% accuracy for 2 turns. And 98 burn damage over 2 turns on an enemy who deals special skill damage to this character. If the enemy's special skill defeats this character, the chance is 50 to 75%. The passive here, effects on special skills, 60% chance to perform the following actions when this character casts their special skill. Deals 70% damage to all enemies. All enemies receive 246 sand damage over 3 turns. This is a lot of damage, again, just in the passive. All right. So Jaws of the River is the special at average speed. Again, you can make it fast speed with the mana troops. Deals 290% damage to all enemies. The attack bypasses defensive buffs, and this includes counterattacks. And there are all of a sudden a number of counterattacking heroes being used in Empires and Puzzles. So there's a lot of use that can be used in this. You don't even need for it to have these defensive buffs. I mean, it'll help. It's just bonus basically, because 290% damage to all enemies with 826 attack, which by the way, I don't think I said the other stats, 716 defense and 1516 health. But 826 attack is a lot, especially if you start putting emblems on it to drive the attack up even more, including the passive, where you might be able to deal 70% more damage and 246 sand damage. So Sobek's here, again, another simple special just to deal a ton of damage to the opponent. I think that you could potentially see Sobek being used on defense. I think maybe like the right flank is a good spot, especially if you have like a defense down type of hero in the left flank or something like that, for Sobek to come in and just like mop up. If Sobek can go off a couple times, you're going to see lots of sand damage and just straight up damage being done. So for that reason, I'm going to give Sobek an A. He's going to be used in a lot of places. The only place he's probably not that good is maybe like against the Titan. But I mean, I'd even use him to farm because he's doing a lot of damage to everything that's on the defense. And I would even use him in events and stuff like that. So a lot of use out of Sobek. Naddaha is a 5-star nature hero, wizard class. Again, not one of the best, but they seem to be doing that with this particular group of season 5 heroes. We have the Moon family special here. So again, remember that as we include that in with the passive and the special. So the regular passive printed on Naddaha is this 50% chance to perform the following actions when this character casts their special skill. Deals 70% damage to all enemies, which we've seen and is included on a number of these. And then a unique one, dispels the latest dispellable buff from all enemies. So Naddaha is sort of a dispeller, but you can't really count on it because it's 50%. And I wonder why the percentage on this one is different than the others, but whatever. Also, 821 attack, 764 defense, and 1431 HP. Luring Song is the special. It is fast, deals 305% damage to the target and nearby enemies. That's quite a lot for target and nearby enemies. The target and nearby enemies are immune to new status effect buffs for 3 turns and receives 200 damage for each attempted buff. So not only is she sort of a dispeller, she can help to like clean up if there were already some buffs, but then she's going to prevent the next round of buffs and going to deal damage based on how many buffs they try to attempt. So this is really great to go after those like taunt heroes that are out there, the ones that, you know, Nopod is giving them all buffs and you know, so we're seeing more of the buff heroes out there, counterattacks and stuff like that, which means that Naddaha is a little bit specialized as far as buffs go, and especially in the tournaments where you get buff booster and things like that. So do remember Naddaha as that. However, I think Naddaha is great even without that part of it. I would say Naddaha would probably be an A-, dealing just that much damage straight. But add on the bonus of being able to dispel and potentially prevent buffs. And I think she gets bumped up to an A because of that. Very unique hero. We don't have this special anywhere else, which makes this or anything exactly like this anywhere else, and especially at legendary status. But that's what I think is going to make her an A hero. And so you can use her almost anywhere. You can use her in wars. You can use her in regular raids, potentially against the Titans, especially the ones like there's the rare like Tiger Titan that counterattacks, you know. So you're going to see a lot of use cases for her. And last we have Khafre, who is a monk. Again, one of the worst classes. That's just what they've done with all these heroes, I think, to offset the power of them. Sun family, so please remember that because it's a very powerful effect, especially if you have multiples. Effects on special skills. The passive here is 70% chance to perform the following actions when this character casts their special skill. Deals 70% damage to all enemies, and all enemies receive 234 damage over 3 turns. That's a lot of damage when you think about how much sand damage is incoming and potential like straight up damage. This is a really powerful passive, and you don't need the mana to build up. And this is a slow hero, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment, but you don't actually need to build up mana to be dealing this damage over here. Now, is it so much that you don't even need to worry about the special? No, the special here needs to be good, but man, don't forget about that passive. A 70% chance to deal all that damage. Then we have a 788 attack, 768 defense, and 1505 HP. Perplexing Riddle is the special at slow, and I don't love slow, and if you see my videos before, I hate on slow all the time, because think about how many heroes they've printed in Empires and Puzzles by now. There are plenty of fast and very fast heroes to choose, and you can just knife through defenses with just those heroes. You don't even need the average slow and very slow heroes. But on top of it, they've printed some extremely powerful average and slow heroes that mean that any slow hero that comes out has to be better than everything else I've just mentioned. So is Khafre that? Let's take a look. Deals 350% damage to the target. That's not a lot of damage, especially for a slow hero. Not, like, it's a lot of damage, but if it were a faster hero, then it would matter more. But for targeting one hero, except that the next line of text says the attack chains through all enemies who are adjacent to any hit enemy. So really, you know, if the whole defense is there, it's hitting all the heroes. Where it's not going to be as powerful is if, like, the tank is missing, then it's only going to hit 2 heroes, whoever's adjacent, right? So it sort of depends. This is going to be a really powerful hit sometimes and sometimes not. The target gets negative 41% defense against fire and a further negative 4% decrease each time they're hit during 4 turns. So it's a really interesting fire and elemental defense debuff, and I love that. I absolutely love that when I see elemental defense buff, just because there's not a whole lot of it in this game, and you typically have to get the hero that has it if you want to compete, you know, with that particular effect. So it's nice to see Khafre have it, although it's not the most powerful elemental defense debuff out there, especially because it's a slow hero. But you are going to be able to use Khafre against the Titan, for example, the Nature Titan, because you absolutely want that defense down. So if you do get Khafre and you don't have that effect yet, you are going to be just automatically including this hero in your Titan team. But because this hero is also hitting a lot of heroes, potentially, you can use it on offense, you can use it on defense. I just think that it's not quite good enough to use, and when it's on defense, unfortunately, you can't control who's targeting, and you can't really take advantage of the fire elemental defense down when it's on defense. So it is more of like an attacking piece, I think, but it's hampered by being slow. I can't give Khafre better than a B just because of how it's getting hampered by a few effects here. But I will say this. Khafre, again, is going to be underrated because people are going to overlook this extremely powerful passive when combined with the special over here. So don't be surprised if people hate on Khafre at first, and then you see him start showing up in places around Empires and Puzzles a little bit down the road when people sort of reluctantly level him up because they're like, well, I don't get another fire hero, I'll just level this and whatever. And then they start using him and realize he's actually pretty good. So those are my thoughts. What do you think about these particular heroes? Just do remember, if you go summoning, you're probably not going to get them. But if you do, I want to know, because you're super lucky. These are all really good heroes. Let me know in the comments what you get, if you level it, how it's playing out, if you agree with my assessment or not. And make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know when I drop new videos or go live. And I will catch you in the next one.